Oh, hey guys, let's start with 2 jokes this time. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Gladys.
Gladys who?
Gladys the Weekend, aren't you?
Completely.
Okay.
What's the second joke?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Go.
Go who?
Go and check the door. Go and check who it is. Go and check the door to see who it is.
Thank you, Aiden.
You're welcome.
Hi, everybody. We are back tonight with Ben Stern. I know he looks quite familiar. We just saw him yesterday, and he read his wonderful book, Do You Have Any Patience? Tonight, we are here to discuss the why behind the book. We'll learn more about Ben and hear about his author journey. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good.
Good, wonderful. Before we get started, we always like to thank our sponsors. We have Teresa Miller of the Single Mom Support Group and Page, Vicki Goodwin of Parents, Find Children's Books and Authors Here, an excellent group if you want to check that out. And then our author sponsor for the week is Delandria Napier, and you can find her at abstractbookmark.com. So we are here to talk to Ben tonight, and I'm just going to I'm going to try to keep it brief, an intro to Ben. So he's the father of 4 princesses and a superhero. And so raising these 5 beautiful, smart, independent children has inspired and challenged Ben to use creative and original ideas to teach them important life lessons. And that's what we're all about here at the Parenting and Bonding with Children's Books podcast. And so the Flip and Friends series are stories he originally created to educate his own children in a fun and relatable way. And tonight, Aiden, yes. Tonight, we are here to talk about the first book in his series, Do You Have Any Patience? Hi, Ben.
Hi.
And so, Jen, I see that we have a Jen watching. Hi, Jen. How are you? Good morning. Oh, it's the morning for Jen. So let's talk about that because I'm in Dallas and it is 7:30 p.m. for me. Ben, where are you?
Outside of Tel Aviv. It's 3:30 a.m.
You're in India?
He's in Israel.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I knew it was something that started with an I. The only ones I was thinking of at that time was India.
Oh, well, thank you, Aiden. He's actually in Israel. And you said again, it's 3:30 a.m.?
Yep.
Okay, and then we have Jen. She says it's the morning for her. I'm not sure what time it is, but we have people from all over the globe watching tonight, and I think that is pretty cool because no matter where we are in the world, us as parents, we all have the same goals, and that's to raise wonderful children. Amen. And my wonderful child right here, would you like to walk away so mommy can do her interview? Thank you very much. Here you go, sir. There you go. Thank you.
Do I get to have the phone?
Yes, because you are not doing what you usually do. Here you go. Thank you. All right. So, Ben, the Patiencebook. First, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. So I've been writing poetry since I was like 11. I actually found in my storage this poetry book that I have from middle school, and it's got my introduction to poetry, and it's really done old and some of my first poems are here, and I had really good teachers that went through all the different styles of poetry, and I've been writing ever since. Phil Silverstein was a huge influence on me. Where the Sidewalk Ends. I love the book, and more than the book, the artwork. It's next level. The subtlety, but the depth to it is just amazing. Mm-hmm. So eventually, I will be also publishing poetry books. Hopefully, okay. I'm just waiting for the illustrations to come in. So that's something that that's been a lifelong dream. And then I went into working with youth. And when I was in college, I tried to publish one of my poetry books. Mm-hmm. However, there was no Amazon, And my plan was to get on Oprah's, hot list. But, back then getting published was not an easy thing.
Yeah.
So I took a detour to youth work and then high tech, and then had my kids and, children's books and, reading all the books. And my kids really didn't enjoy just reading books. They wanted to get stories out of my head. And so, after, years and years of doing that, it just clicked that, it's time. Amazon is around, and let me look into this Amazon publishing experience. And that's how I am. So it was great. It's actually, now with YouTube and the internet, like there's resources everywhere. And then I lucked out. Someone made an introduction to me to a friend who also published his first children's book like a year earlier. So he was able to coach me through it. But the process, the writing was, came easily. The illustrations was a little more. So in my youth work, I worked with one of the kids that I work with when she was, 11. I saw that or 11 or 12. I saw she liked art and she worked. So I had her actually design all of my sweatshirts
cool.
back then. And that was, 15, 20 years ago. And she recently moved here. And she's actually now a professional graphic artist. And I said, I need you to do this for me. We're doing this together. And she's brilliant. And you can see that, right away from the artwork.
Yes, it's really beautiful. The colors chosen, it's simple, but it's also, I think, very complex. And the bright colors, I mean, they just attracted Aiden right away. We've seen the ebook, not the physical book just yet,
right.
But just looking at, the ebook, it's so fun. It's kind of reminiscent, kind of reminded me of the what is it? The character from the Frog and Toad books. I don't know if you're familiar with Frog and Toad. It's everybody remembers you're watching. It's like they just passed like their 25-year anniversary or something like that.
Yeah, so it was kind of inspired with, it's a series, so I wanted to have it, with Berenstain Bears kind of, which I grew up on.
Okay.
And then Peppa Pig, which my kids grew up on. So the idea is the characters from this book and all the different stores are going to be the parents of all of Flip's friends.
Oh,
so the next book will pull in, each book will pull in another character from the store. So it's I have a big vision. We'll see how we can do it. But I have a store. I have cartoons. I have a big vision for it. And we'll see. Book number 2 is.
That'll be so fun for families to follow the different characters in the books. That will be so cool. So we haven't really dug into it yet. I asked everybody that comes on, if you had to give like an elevator pitch, what is your book is about, what would you say?
It's a conversation starter about the importance of patience, but in a very logical way. So you don't need to actually say, hey, you need to learn patience. You read the book and it's very apparent and obvious the lesson that is learned by the last page. And because it's such a great conversation starter, I've had readers reach out to me and say, this is a great conversation starter. And I've read the book 50 million times. And at the kids, my child is now calling it, I want you to read now, instead of, do you have any patience? But what do we do now? And because of that, we launched the Patiencebook.com, which has videos for parents, videos for children, and also activities that you can do, and resources for that, as well as being able to print out award charts that you can put on the wall, and you can get through your 30 days. You can write down what you were patient about, and just building on patience, because I believe, success, a big thing that's missing in the world today is patience. Everything is instant. I put on my Facebook, I want to post my picture right away, Instagram, everything is instant. And I think the world needs a lot more patience, with the anxiety that's in the world, with pretty much everything, you know, everything is at a click of a button. You know, kids aren't going outside as much as they used to just go outside and just be outside, and just, you know, simple things like in our resources is, you know, just planting a garden and having the kids realize that, you know, you plant the seed and then you take care of it every day and every day and every day. And then, you know, a few months later, you have your cucumbers growing. You know, it's learning that simple thing will help you in life in general. And, you know, that's what the books are. Each of them are going to have a different theme on life lessons, which I've learned from books and want to pass it on to my kids.
That's wonderful. That's what we love here on this podcast, is how we choose books that can be used as tools to teach our children lessons. I was on your website and I completely agree with everything you're saying about, you know, everything is so fast these days. I think you had a quote from Gary Vaynerchuk. It was pretty long, but just him talking about the difference between having patience and enjoying the journey, right? That was like the gist of it. Like, what, you know, we don't enjoy the journey now. We want everything so quick that the journey is kind of like ignored, or so I thought that was really, really good. On your website, you say patience, because we've all heard this quote. Let me start with that. Patience is a virtue. You say patience is more than a virtue. What else is it?
Patience is, it's a life skill. It's not, you know, something good to have. It's something you need to be successful. Any job you get, it's going to take you time to start getting acclimated to the job. We start school, you know, at 5 years old, but we're in school for 15 years. If you don't, you're going to be itching to get out every second if you don't, you know, you don't get used to the process. Life is long. You know, you have 80 years plus to do what you need to do. You know, speaking of Gary Vaynerchuk, he didn't start making money until he was 30. He lived at home. He just built up his family business, and he lived at home, and he didn't start his own thing until he was 30. So, you know, life is, you know, we're here for, like, you know, this much of time, and time is that long, and people don't realize that, you know, slow and steady, you know, the tortoise and the hare, simple as it can be. You know, slow and steady wins the race, not the one that's running and missing everything. And it's, you know, it's more than just a virtue. It's, you know, something that's needed to be successful and productive.
What do you think are the benefits of teaching our children patience at a young age?
I think, you know, instant gratification is so detrimental to the psyche, to anxiety, to fear, to all, you know, to be able to endure life, you know, life isn't perfect. Life has its challenges. And if you're expecting everything to be perfect and rainbows all the time, you're just going to be upset all the time. And being able to learn that, you know, you have to learn, you know, addition before you can learn subtraction, or you need to work to get a job. You can't just say, hey, please give me money, and it magically appears. You need to work for whatever it is you need, and nothing comes easy. And teaching that as early as possible. You know, even something as simple as, you know, Flip, he's wanting dinner, but it wasn't ready yet. And he had to learn that he needed to be patient about it. And then he would have what he wants. And you can, you know, a lot of kids, they just, you know, throw tantrums and are upset the whole time when they could just be doing something else and coming back when it's ready. And I'm sure every parent that's listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. And it's actually been, you know, really cool that, you know, parents that are reading the book have told me that, you know, their kids have come to them and say, I want it now. And they say, what would Flip do? Or do you have any patience? And which is why, you know, hopefully I'm going to be coming out with stickers that you can get and you can hand your child, here, have some patience. And it doesn't have to, you know, the lollipop is a metaphor because, you know, patience gives you a sweet reward, but, you know, it doesn't have to be an actual lollipop, which is why I'm pushing for stickers. And eventually I would like to have, you know, stuffed patience lollipops that parents can buy and give them whenever, you know, they come into that conflict about having patience or not, and then it'll click. and the kid will, understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's a nice reminder. You know what I love about your book? I love that it's so simple. Like and I like that you said it was also a conversation starter, because it definitely is. After we read it, Aiden had like so many questions about just the patients, why he didn't just wait at the first. He wasted so much time going to all these different stores.
Yeah.
When he could have just stayed in the first store and waited. Everybody said it takes 5 minutes, but Aiden was like, he probably took like 25 minutes to find what he wanted.
That's right.
I mean, the book was so simple, but it was funny. Like you said, I know your kids are not the only one, or the example you gave earlier saying now, now, now. Aiden adapted that like right away. Now, now. And he loved Ben. Thank you for putting the exclamation point at the end of the last now.
Yeah.
Aiden's like, now, now, now. So loud when we're reading it together. And so it was just a very enjoyable book. Like Ben says, it's simple, but also something that can be used as a real tool in your home when you're trying to hone in on patience and waiting for that simple thing like dinner. I think I mentioned yesterday, and I said it lightly, but it's a big thing, like that after school snack. It's like a daily struggle. The patience that's required, because you could just stop and get them something quick, pick up some fast food on the way home, or you can just say, hey, do you have any patience, and wait for like a fruit bowl or something much healthier. So that's something that I'm working on at home with Aiden, that I can now use this reminder for him. Do you have any patience? You're not
exactly
waiting for this. Because patience is important, and not only do they need patience to do what they're doing, they need patience to deal with other people as well. So it's so important. So I know you said you have a series. Are you willing to talk about like what's next, or what different values you're going to talk about?
So I can talk about the next book is written. It's basically a story about coming out of your comfort zone.
Okay.
So the girl gets invited to a swimming party, and she only likes she only likes in her little comfort zone, and she really wants to go to the party, and there's a struggle, and then she has a nice conversation with her mother, and then she comes out for the party, and then she goes back into her comfort zone. That's it in a nutshell. But I think that's so important, and especially nowadays with Corona, when kids just don't know where they can go, where they can't go, when they can take off their mask, when they can't. And some kids are getting much more anxiety because of all the rules and everything. That it's so important to know that you can actually you can get out, be safe, but then you can come back in, and it's always there for you, your comfort zone. But again, to be successful, you need to be able to get out of that comfort zone, because if you don't push your limits, you're not going to go anywhere. And that's the next book. I have another one about the concept is the family is like a factory.
Okay.
And so it's loosely based on the concept of I Love Lucy and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know if you remember, where she's working in the chocolate factory, and she's taking everything and she's eating it all. And
isn't that like the number one episode of I Love Lucy?
So the idea is, when one of the machines in the family isn't working, then a whole family just gets into chaos.
Okay.
So to kind of bring home the idea that, the whole family is one unit, and when we're all doing all the right things, that's when all the exciting, fun things happen. And when one person's going off and doing their own thing, that's when everything else breaks down and you lose out. So those are the next couple books. I have a list of ideas and topics and things, but each one will have a topic and a lesson and things that I want to give on to my children that I think, every child will benefit from.
A few things. I had so many thoughts come through my head as you were talking about these different, and so first, the comfort zone. I was sitting here thinking, like, have I read a book that was focused on kids coming out of their comfort zone. I mean, you read about the importance of them being individuals and the importance of not being afraid to make mistakes and anxiety and things like that. But I don't know if I've ever read one. I'm probably lying, but this is very necessary. Because I read a lot of children's books, right? But this is very necessary, and I'm excited to see this to come to fruition for you and for us. And then the family unit. I don't think we focus on the family as a unit and how it works together enough. Because we do read so many books about the importance of a child being independent and being an individual and learning, themselves. I don't think we focus enough on the family as a unit. We talk about the importance of diverse families, and not every family looks the same, but how they work together. I think that's really cool. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it all. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
If I could draw, I would have most of the books out by now. But
I hear that quite a bit.
My illustrator is the best, and it's worth the wait. So.
It's worth the wait, and I think that I was asking in the group not too long ago if people would be interested in hearing from the illustrators as well.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, and I think that it's really cool because you can't in the picture book, you can't have one without the other. And, right. We often don't pay too much attention to the illustrator. It's kind of like we attach all the work to the author, So I think it'll be cool to see the other side and the pride that goes into their work and the patience that the author has to have and waiting.
Yeah. And, it's just even basically the meeting, we met once and I said, this is what I'm looking for. And she sent me 6 different flips. I picked a flip with the kids.
Okay.
And then the next thing she gave me was almost completely finished book. And it was just taking the words to my descriptions of what I wanted it to look like. And she matched it perfectly. But, there's so much story in the imagery that, the words are, a part of it, but without the proper imagery, you would need a lot more words for the picture books.
Yeah.
And, getting that balance is super key.
Yes, I agree. I just thought about something. For those of you watching, hopefully you're familiar with me and my corny jokes. But as you're reading this book with your family, and you can find it at thepatiencebook.com, also Amazon and the Book Depository, you can say to your kids as a reminder, have some patience before you flip out.
So I do have some interesting ideas with the word flip.
Okay.
And, some other stuff for marketing. I just haven't gotten to it. I don't want to go into them, but I do have some cool ideas going down. I actually wanted to start a flipping out, or I got flipped off, or there's a lot of fun things that we could do. Yeah. So I have a bunch of interesting ideas as well.
Cool. All right. Well, we in talking about books as tools on this podcast and in our community, one of the things that's most important to me, and the reason why I started this, is to talk to parents about, okay, so we sit down, we read the book with our kids, but what's next kind of thing, telling them how to use the book, and so having these conversations with the authors and hearing about your why behind the book, how you use it in your home and how you've heard other people comment on the book after its use. I think it's very valuable, to parents, because I know that some may take a book, read it, put it on the shelf, never look at it again, but they really can be used over and over again as tools. And I keep saying it, but hopefully you guys get it. They can be used as tools. So you can find Ben at thepatiencebook.com. Also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Patience Book. And before we go, I want to ask you, is there anything else you want to share with us about your book?
So we also just published an activity book. So it's got crosswords and word finds and coloring activities and puzzles. So you can, it's 50 pages of activities. And we also have a coloring book. And depending, what age and what your children are doing, but it's, coloring these images in and these pictures in gets them connected to the book, and they can learn how to write, draw, flip. But it also, it'll take them hours and hours to complete all these activities. So we're really excited about that. And then the book is also translated into multiple languages, Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, and German. And there's more languages on the way. And if you want to print out your own coloring book, you can go to flipandfriendsbooks.com and you can download the coloring book for printing out yourself.
Thank you. So guys, check out Ben's website. I mean, you can almost get lost in the amount of resources that he has available to go along and accompany the book. Thank you for taking the time as an author to really put all those additional resources together for parents and for families. It's so important as they're learning and teaching these different skills, because I find that as we're teaching our children, we're learning all over again ourselves as well.
Yeah.
And that can be pretty cool. So again, thank you. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you so much, Ben, for being here. And visit him at thepatientsbook.com. If anybody has any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll be watching in all the different groups and places that we stream in to see your comments. And I think that's it. Everybody have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Yep. You're welcome, Ben. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Ben, the co-creator of the Flip and Friends book series. And we wanted to let you know from all your feedback and all the parents and teachers that reached out to us and said, this book is amazing and the kids really understand patience, but we need to do more. What do we do next? So we just launched thepatientsbook.com. On thepatientsbook.com, we have videos for parents, videos for grandparents, teachers, adult videos for the children to watch. We also have a section on resources and activities, so you can print out charts for rewards, puzzles, mazes, everything you need to continue that patience work. We know at the end that a child that learns patience will be a much more successful adult. Thank you.